Hey there guys, and welcome back. So, yesterday we designed this thing as well as talking about what all the other pieces we're going to do. And so obviously you see I have it printed. This is not exactly, there's a couple things we're going to need to change. So basically what it comes down to is when I had this designed just to hold the bottom piece using little plastic springs, right? That I felt comfortable with because it's pinching on all sides. With the way that this piece is, because it's only really pinching on the front side between the front and the back, and it's kind of loose here, it does feel like this is going to fall out. So I'm going to go ahead and just make this taller. It's one of those things, the front is open anyway, so we'll still be able to read the tag on it, which was one of the concerns. One of the reasons why I was trying to keep it low profile was just to keep the tag visible. But since this is an open front design, we should be fine there. When we make this bigger, I'm going to go ahead and slide this up. And we'll make this tab a little bit bigger too, just so we get more spacing on the rubber band. But I'm going to slide it up because right now, this little bit that it's covering the bottom isn't really doing much. So, those are the first two changes. The third change is these tabs on the back. Obviously, they do flex enough to get in and out. Both here and obviously through the back, because these tabs are separate. If you watched yesterday's video, you know that. I'm going to go ahead and drop these down to 3mm from the 4mm that they are right now, because they really don't need to be this stiff, and them being this stiff just makes things more difficult. Makes it a little bit more of a pain in the butt to get together. And the amount of weight, as I've said a couple times last night, is not going to be so much that it's going to just break these clips. The last thing we're going to change here is the little tabs, the little retaining tabs that I put in here. I just had them at 0.5 millimeter, and I use a 0.6mm nozzle on my Prusa, which means that basically they don't exist. The slicer tries to put them in there, and it's like, hey, here's a little bump for you, but unfortunately, it's really not anything that you can tell. So I'm going to go ahead and make those a little bit bigger so that they actually get printed and actually do their job. So yeah, that is the rundown on this first piece we did. Refresher on the other pieces. This is just going to be an exact copy of this, but with a cutout for the USB, just like this one has a cutout for the USB. And two tabs in order to align a piece of 2020 on here, and a hole, an extra mounting hole to attach the 2022. So that is that piece right there. And then for all our extra bits, I'm going to just make up little attachable, repeating, tileable is the word I'm looking for, tileable holders for them that can just slide underneath the Carvera. Because again, as mentioned yesterday, there is enough space underneath the Carvera to fit bits and whatnot. The underside of the Carvera does not have any, well, it does have exposed machinery, but all of it is tall enough that we don't really run any risk of hitting it with these things. So, with all the introductions out of the way, let's get back in here and get this wrapped up, at least this first set of add-ons, because again, as I mentioned before, we'll be doing a few more after this. Probably not immediately, we'll probably take a little break and do something else, but I will get back to it once I get a better idea of the other add-ons I want to have on. Oh, actually, this is 3mm. Is that really 3mm? It feels awfully thick. Where's my calipers at? There they are. So this, I'm going to take down to 2mm in that case. I mean, my calipers are saying that they're a little thicker than 3mm, but not by much. And it's one of those things, it could just be a little bit of elephant foot that I'm picking up here, since they're printed on the edge that I'm measuring right now. So yeah, these will be going down to 2mm then, in that case. 2mm. And then, as previously stated, these little tabs here need to be bigger. And so I have them like this so that when you release, it just kind of slides out of the way. But the fact that we have two opposing tabs here is kind of indicates to me that it's probably not worth it. Probably what I should just do is bring this straight across. Oh, this is one more thing. Let me jump back to the camera really quick. Camera. Okay, the one more thing that I was thinking about doing, on top of making this larger this way, I am considering making the gaps in between here a little bit thicker, in between each of these, and then having a little slot to slide the rubber band back into, because once I end up like this, as you can see, and this is something I knew about, I just didn't think it would be that big of a deal, but this is loose here. This isn't actually being held because the first holder is bigger than the second holder. Again, I didn't think it was going to be that big of a deal, and it probably isn't, especially because this is going to be just hanging out on the side, you know, up and down. Not going to be that big of a deal. But, actually, you know what? Maybe I won't do that. I think I just talked myself out of it. Yeah, it really won't be that big of a deal. The rubber band here is actually just a fence, really, more than anything else. I did say that yesterday, that we just use it as a fence. But because I was sitting here, I was thinking it'd be nice to be able to get some more tension on this to hold each of them individually. But probably not necessary. Because, again, they'll just be sitting up and down like that. Not going anywhere. Alright, back to Fusion. So, let's get this set back to where we're at, because the constraints are on. I'm actually not entirely sure whether I even bother with this offset right here. This offset right here might actually be unnecessary. In fact, it probably is. So we'll just go ahead and bring this to linear here. And then I'll put a little bit of print offset just to make it up for it. Okay. So we're looking at... Okay, so we lost all that, which is kind of silly that we lost all of it, but whatever, we can fix it. Let's see, that's a tab there, that's that, and yes, no, also that. Okay. And this guy, well, because we did these guys separate, the way it ended up. Turn the first one off. That. Okay. Alright, and everything is now back to how it was. Next up, I wanted to make these guys bigger. This guy. Not that guy. That guy. So, let's go like another 10 on each side, so we get an extra inch. So I'll just call that 12. And that 12 on the other side. Extra inch. About, approximately. And then this tab, I just wanted to, instead of centering it like we have it, get rid of that center, and again, go ahead and change this just to a reference off the top. Huh, okay. Maybe not. Oh, I already have this reference right here. That is why. Okay. But this guy down here, I do want to kick up a bit. And that will change to like... 8. Let's call it 8. Okay. Actually, the rubber band, if I recall correctly from last night, was about 6. So that 8 is probably less than I want. So let's change that a little bit more to be like 12. And I realized this is no longer collinear because it's not centered, it's paralleled. There's that. And that is all the changes. I just throw one more print offset in here on our clips to give us just a hair more breathing room. And put that here and here. Here. And actually, you know what? These print offsets should probably go... no, it's fine. I was going to say they're probably better off going before the mirror. But the fact of the matter is that I probably shouldn't have them extruded separately to begin with. It's just that I don't like aligning bodies, as we've talked about before. Because Fusion does not remember how to align your bodies very well. Reason being. So, we'll just do it here, since I'm already taking shortcuts. I do want it kind of tight, so 0.1. And come back here and take a quick look at this because, yeah, that's still 0.5. So we'll make that 1. I forgot to change that. And actually, what I probably should change it to is 1.2. 1.2 is divisible by 0.4 and 0.6. So that is more ideal. And that should be everything I wanted. Change here. So that is a quick fix done in less than 15 minutes, including the preamble. So we are off on to part number 2. So for this piece, we have... How do I want to do this? I guess I'll do it from the right-hand side. Or left-hand side. Yeah, left. Because that's where it's going on. For no other reason. And I also probably should have figured out what that radius is on the corners. I still haven't done that. So after we're done here today, I will figure that out. But in the meantime, we can continue with the rest of it. The radius is really simple to add later. So 45.75. 82.75. That does not look right. Oh, derp. I got them backwards. 82.75. 45.5. There we go. Much better. We will toss a vertical here. And a second vertical line in here. Make that centered on that. And this will be my holes. And these are 4 millimeters. And the head on a full 4 millimeter is, I forget. Although I do have it down that I have the countersink itself down. I did not get the head size. Head size is 6.8. 6.8. And then the countersink was 1.9, but we're not quite there yet. I still have to do the cutout for B over here. And that is centered. We established 29 from the top, it looks like. Or wait, 29 from the top. I got 10.3 on the depth. I think that 29 is from the top, but oh, that's right. That's why I did not bother measuring the length of it, because it's going to automatically calculate it. That's why I did not bother measuring. Makes sense. We will go ahead and toss the other bolts in here really quick and just make them equal. Uh-oh. Shrink up. There we go. And then this distance was 66. All right. One thing I'll mention is before I actually cut this out of aluminum, which was the plan for this one, I'll go ahead and print it just to make sure that everything lines up the way I expect it to. Beyond that, I'm going to go ahead and hop over here and toss a 2020 extrusion in so that I have the sizes correct. I know for it should be 6mm should be the opening, but we are going to go ahead and bring it in just to be official like. Sort by name. 2020. Where's my actual 2020? There it is. Insert. Oh, did not save. Good point. Carvera, add-ons. And this is, what do I want to call this? Tool rack? We'll call this tool rack. Tool rack mounting plate. That's not quite right. Tool rack extrusion mounting plate, though. That would be right. Yes. Okay. Cool. Yes. Okay. I don't know. I was trying to figure out whether or not there was something else I wanted to proceed, name it, but I decided I did not have anything else I wanted to name it. Yeah, I gotcha. Don't worry about it. Turn you off. Make sure that I have my parameters in here. Slot opening 6mm, just like I thought. That is good to know that I remember that correctly. We will just use squares for this, and there we go. Construction line. Get in here. Make that little guy also collinear and centered. Well, it's already collinear, technically speaking, because it has 2 points on the same line, and it is a line, but centered. What I need to find little guy. There he is. How do I do this? Just like this. I think. Get rid of that. Make that perpendicular to that, and I'll just make this square. There we go. T-slot opening. Make this square. And then toss in our centering line and have it centered on that dot. There it is. Actually, you know what? I'm going to delete this stuff because I'm just copying, I'm just mirroring this stuff over to begin with. So it's not really necessary. The length of the little line here. Where are you? That guy? That guy. Yeah, we'll go ahead and make them 30. That's fine. I don't have a particular number that I need. So, finally, the attachment for that. This will go centered that, and one on the guy. That is not the little guy. Which one's the little guy? That guy? Alright. Let's see. What size do I want? 6mm? It is going to be a little less than 6mm. Let me do a quick check, a little quick internet search. Pilot hole metric. Metal. And look at images because I don't feel like going to sites. 6mm. Drill size is 5.25. We are going to 5.25, huh? I don't have a 5.25. I think we can get away with 5. I don't think we can get away with 5. Do we have any other pictures that justify myself? Can I get a second opinion? Let's see. That is not metric. Google, why are you giving that to me? It's not metric. Stainless aluminum. Where's metric? I'm 6. 6x1 steel. Well, I'm not looking for steel. And also, these are screws. Cap size. Let's see. M6. M6 by. What column is? Okay, there's not a column for aluminum, soft metals versus hard. So this is actually just saying 6 millimeters. All right, I'm gonna leave it at 6. I'll figure it out. We'll do a quick test before I actually commit. And that should be everything. Again, this part is super simple. So, I'm gonna extrude all this. Then we'll just cut the holes out and mirror them as normal. The thickness on this is 5. Yes, 5 millimeters. 5 millimeters. Sketch. Grab the tab from object, T-slot depth, T-slot depth, and I'll probably offset that just to make sure I don't screw anything up. You know, all it has to do is -1. All it has to do is align. It's not actually, you know, making contact. It doesn't need to make contact with the bottom of the T-slot. This guy, distance all. And 1.9 on the countersink here. From object, -1.9. And then mirror. All these guys. Features. And this guy can just go straight through because he's getting tapped. And again, I'll put some thread lock on that to make sure it doesn't go anywhere. I just have blue thread lock, so it's super, you know, not a problem. If I have to take it apart is what I meant. It's just there so that it doesn't shake loose, doesn't rattle loose, vibrate loose, whatever we want to use, whatever adjective we want to use. It's not there to make sure it never comes apart. We're going to call this, I guess, 7 for right now. And then I'll, again, come back and print that out afterwards. And like I said, we're done here. So, again, I will just do a quick print template. I'll probably just do something like this. And then export this template just to make sure that I have everything lined up correctly. Which, again, the only thing that I really need lined up is, well, I guess there's 2 things. One is the radius, make sure I have the radius correct, and the second is the hole placement. Those are the only, the top and bottom hole placement, even at that. Those are the only things that actually need to be lined up. Everything else has play in it. So, or is not necessarily, how should I say it? For example, the peg holes here, their distance here does not actually matter terribly much. The hole in the center, again, it's center. I already know it's center, so it doesn't actually matter. Doesn't need to be matched. And then this cutout already has some play built into it. So that also is something that can't really be off by much. It's not possible for it to be off by enough to cause a problem. One other thing is these are radiused in here. These corners are radiused. I'm not bothering putting that in here, because the machine, when I cut it out on the Carvera, the corners are going to be radiused anyway because of the end mill. The end mill can't make a straight line, so it's going to be slightly radiused just by default, by the nature of the cutting tool. Assuming, I should say, it's one of those things, the radius is going to be dependent on the size of this cutting tool, technically speaking. So if I used a smaller cutting tool to get into the corners here, I could make them tighter, smaller radius, but I'm not going to bother worrying about that. I will use a larger cutting tool to begin with. So, like I said, that is everything here. That is not the save button. That is the save button. We are done. And on to the final piece. So, again, I have 3 different types of bit holders, types of bit cases right now. I will probably get more in the future. Oh, actually 4. I have 4, which includes the this guy right here, the multi-bit holder that came with the Carvera. So each of these puzzle pieces, each of these pattern pieces is going to be the same exact base, and then I will just add on, I will just clip in probably a connector. So probably what's going to happen here, probably how we're going to design it, we are doing this one in pink. That's this guy over here. Probably all I'm going to do is just create an interlocking piece, right? Like this. Opposite on that side. Okay. And then it makes sense to me to just leave slots in here. And then, so this is the base piece. This is the piece that I print out for everything. And then when we make the holders, whatever is going to be holding this, okay, because they're all laying down, because they're sliding underneath the Prusa, the Carvera, because they're sliding underneath the Carvera, this is going to be a top view. But basically, so for example, for this piece right here, this piece is very simply going to be an outer shell like this with, little hook ends for this part right here. This is the full back plate right here, just for reference, in case you're not seeing that, with the connectors here and here to connect to the next tile. So this will just slide in like that. The other ones, like the individual drill bit things, we can do a little bit more. We can do, individual teeth for them to sit in if we would like. Otherwise, if we didn't want to do that, we could just make another one of these. It's one of those things, this is all laying down flat on the ground. Here is Carvera. And all this stuff is laying down like this on my bench. So it's one of those things, it's not going anywhere. We just need to make sure that it doesn't, when I pull this out like this, the only concern is that it does not slide this way, which it's one of those things I don't expect it to. I don't expect the inertia to be enough to keep that there and slide off. But these little holders that we're making still have a bottom, okay? And we can just make sure that the bottom is in this direction. That way, when this gets pulled out, the bits don't slide out. Not alternatively, but going the opposite direction when we're pushing it in, if they slide a little bit, that's not going to be that big of a deal because we're just going to pull it back out. Whereas if we're pulling it out and it's sliding out the other direction, then the bits at the far back can fall off the back end, and then we are going to have a little bit of annoyance getting them picked back up, reaching under there and getting them picked back up. So that is the deal there. Back to Fusion. And I guess we'll do multiple documents for this rather than just grouping them all in the same document. So we will paste the top of that because this is how we're designing it. We can take a quick count. So this was 88.29 across and 53 deep. These guys, well, I'm talking to myself here. Let's go ahead and just give you the camera back really quick. So this, we got this number right here for that. And then these guys, we figured they all fit into this size category right here, which is 10 by 13-ish, rounding 10 by 13-ish, okay? One of those things I had mentioned before that they would fit better in this direction because their height is more akin to the width of this piece. So we'd probably stack them up this direction. But actually, you know what? That does work. I was going to say but if I change how I'm designing this right here, and instead of having the hole being pointing towards the inside, if we have it pointing towards the outside, so if I modify this image right here, show the hole on this side, then actually we don't have to worry about sliding forward or backwards. Which makes sense. That is obviously significantly better. So instead of this being like this, we will have the connectors up here and little hole down here. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense. Okay. And in that case, back to individual teeth probably doesn't make any sense. Probably not necessary at that point because nothing's going to be sliding in the same orientation. So, for example, if we shove this piece back and forth really quick underneath the machine, right? Then these guys will just, if you imagine this is my bottom plate right now, and I've got these guys inside of a container, which is my fingers, right? It's just kind of do that, which is not that big of a deal. Obviously, they can wiggle out like you just saw the yellow guy do, but it's unlikely, and I'm not going to be shaking this thing back and forth super hard. So, point being is, chances are we're going to be able to get away with basically the same exact cap each and every single time, just maybe changing the depth or the thickness, the different thicknesses that we have here. And even at that, honestly, the thicknesses are all about the same. So I might just give up and instead of doing custom pieces for each, just have a generic size. Because again, over-engineering is not particularly useful in this situation. Alright, so as for how the tiles go together, that is the only real question left in the air right now. Left up in the air right now at any rate. Get you centered. We are going to need this to be at least 88.29 plus a little bit. So let's say 3 and 3. So the case cover will be 3 thickness coming down into it, and then 3 millimeters of extra space on the edges, just so that it sticks in, so that the connection point is completely enclosed. That's 6 and 88 is in theory 94. I'm going to call it 94.5 because we do have a fraction decimal that we're taking care of. And I will round. And again, for the record, this is actually incorrect because I decided we're going to turn it this way. That is why. So 88.29 on that side. And this side only needs to be, so I got 53 right here. Let's see. Okay, actually. Let's come back to the camera. I know I'm bouncing back and forth again. It just occurred to me, these individual corn bits, this container, let's say, right? It actually doesn't need to slide in like this. It can slide in like this into the side. So, that being the case, we really do only need the 53.2 on this side as opposed to the 88.3 on this side. Ish, rounding. Again, rounding numbers. So, in that case, I will go ahead and swap this back. So this is the 94.5. And this piece is now I probably should take, instead of the 53.4 53.2 that I was talking about earlier on this side, based off the multi-bit case, I probably should go with the 13.5 times 5, assuming that bits come in 5 packs, and again, the 13.5 is my largest width there. That probably makes sense to me. I think that makes sense to me. Yeah, so 13.5 times 5, and then another 6, and another 6 is 12. Over here, did I add... No, I only added another 6 to my 88, right? So I need to add another 6 to make that 100 and... Oh, no, that's right. This one, because our container's going this way. Wow, okay. Pay attention and update your thinking. Because our container's going this way, we actually don't need the... We're not connecting anything on the bottom side. We're only connecting on the sides, is how I was thinking about it. Which means that this actually can be 88.29. Although I'll probably round it up to 90 just to give ourselves a little bit of breathing room. Or actually, we're going to have to add the 3 anyway. Yeah, 3 anyway for the bottom wall. So, 91. You know what? Let's not be too stingy. I'm just going to round it to 95. Again, this actually doesn't matter. This length right here doesn't matter. So, the next thing is the clips top and bottom. How we want to do those. They should be pretty low profile because it's not going to really hold that much weight. No need to make them hold that much weight. The only issue is running into the clips with the clip-on cover. So in that case, let's consider. Yeah, I guess the clip-on cover can just be in the middle, and then the clip-ons will be like that. So it shouldn't be that big of a deal. Back in here and add those in. What shape do we want? It's one of those deals where I always do dovetails, so I kind of feel like mixing it up, but at the same time, dovetails are just plain easy, which is why I always do them. So we're gonna stick with dovetail. And I guess I will toss a center line in here, and I don't normally mirror on sketches, but I will make an exception. So let's see. Distance here, we'll make 12. We'll make the depth of the what you call it? That, not that. We'll make these two equal. And then we'll just define this as 40, not 45, 45 is too much. 55, 60, yeah, 60. All right, cool. Now we just have to define an offset. 20 should be fine. All right, cool. And now, as I was talking before, the mirror. Like those 3, that, oh, no. That's right, I don't want that. I actually want to copy this straight down. This is one of those things, technically I could mirror is how I could do it. I could also make the body, I could extrude the body and then copy paste. Which one is more annoying? What method is most annoying here? One of those things, as I always say, 1.5 million ways to skin a cat. A bunch of different ways we could be doing this right now. So for example, just to put into words the thing or put into visual, the one way I was looking at doing this, we could do this. That's one way of solving this one. You know what? I think we'll go with that. I think that's fine. Okay. So that's the attachment. Now I just need the slots for the things to flip into. Whoops, not me to double hit that. Take a cross on this one to make my life easier. And click that. Please. Oh, do I not? Oh, that's that would explain that one. Okay, I don't have a actual midline right here. That was the offset. There we go. And I said 3 millimeters right here. And 3 millimeters right here. And that should be good. Should in theory be good. Need to define the width. Call it 20. 20 sounds fine to me. And now we will extrude, and then I'll just mirror the features over. So extrude this and then mirror the features. Doesn't have to be super thick. I mean, heck, we could call it 2 millimeters if we want to. I'll go with 3 millimeters anyway. And now mirror the features. We want that, that, and that. From object, distance, all. Oh, that's right. I can only do one operation at a time. That makes sense. All, object, and also Fusion doesn't actually like distance all for extrusions. And now we can mirror feature. Although I gotta do these. Wow, I am heck off today. Okay. Click that guy. And actually we can do both of those at the same time, because it doesn't matter what the operation is. That guy on that axis, and that is the base. Now we can create the cover. And I guess I will design it. How do I want to design it? I kind of want to design it from the top as well. Let's grab the sketch instead of the body. Sketch. Oh, up. I am blind. There's that. Then what we got to do is create a couple more boxes. Do I want to do boxes? I don't necessarily need to do boxes. I can do a line like that. Yeah, leave like 30. Actually, I should watch out for this guy, Jack, because that guy isn't going to need to be part of it. Turn that back off. So, it needs to be part of it, but we could just line it up. which doesn't sound terrible to me. So let's try that out. We're going to try that out. Line that up. Then that, make that 3mm right there. Make that collinear with that. That centered on that. And there we go. That is everything we need. So we extrude this up from the body. And we want to go 13.5. Yeah, we don't really need to get much thicker than that, right? Let me just make sure that that is the thickest I've got here. It is. It is the thickest I've got there. So no matter how they sit, they'll fit. Was the only concern there. There's that. And we throw the cover on, and then we throw the attachment point on, and we are good. So all of that. Oh, turn the body off first. Select all of that, please. Okay, fine. You're being annoying. Stop it. All of that. I like that. That's fine. Body from object. Go 3mm. Go. Now the attachment. That from object. That distance to object. That. Correct. Here. Finish that off. Feature, that guy, select that guy, and that is everything we need. I don't feel the need to put another clip in the back. That seems like overkill to me. Fact of the matter is if I wouldn't leave this as one clip on that one side, it would even work, just because again there is no load to speak of here, so it's entirely not necessary. Quick visual to check that nothing looks stupid. It doesn't. Add some color. Forgot to do that on the last one. Oh, actually, well, I would have just made it aluminum on the last one, to be fair. We haven't used green in a little bit. I don't think we have at any rate. Go green and yellow here. There's that. Turn the sketch off. And then I will just... this gap right here is not going to exist on, will only exist on one of them, I should say. It's only going to exist on the very last one. The other one will have the previous one plugged in there, and the gap also isn't causing any harm unless you're going to slip through there. So that is everything. So in theory, just demonstrate components. Actually bodies, I guess, because I'm not going to be able to select the top level component. That and that. Oh, you're not going to let me do multiple bodies? You're a jerk. So this will get patterned out like that, and each of these will be like that. Actually, you know what? It occurs to me that I should probably shrink the lid down a little bit, just so that these aren't rubbing up against each other. So this lid will be right here, this next lid will be right here, and then it will be rubbing shoulders right there. So probably just toss that in as an offset to make our lives easy. Minus 0.25. And then just print offsets. These will just go on the female pieces. There. Oh no, don't do that. Just 0.1 is plenty, at least for my setup. I guess I'll also put it here as well for the same reason as moving the lid a little bit, just so that the edges aren't butting up too bad. Just a precaution. Anything else I need? I don't think so. Alright, cool. And there we go. And those are the undercarriage bit holders. Yeah, my 2 10 out of 10. New phone mount we don't need anymore. And yeah, I'll just do that for right now. All right, so that is everything. Actually, because this is getting 3D printed, I should label this as tile and cover. And again, as I mentioned earlier, if I wanted to customize this top cover to better fit, to make it more snugly to specific sets of bits, that'd be easy enough to do. All I gotta do is shrink it down or make it larger, let's say. In theory, I shouldn't have to make it larger, but yeah, that option is always available. So long as these dovetails don't change, you should be able to still tile it. You may have to. So, for example, if I got really big bits somehow, bit holders somehow, which again, well, not again, I haven't mentioned this on stream, but the Carvera only goes up to a 1/4 inch spindle, call it, which means that the biggest you have, which is, this bit right here that I have in here, the orange one, this will be the biggest container in theory that I should have. I shouldn't have any bigger containers than this. And this is already smaller than technically the width of this guy. This guy is the one that we measured at 13.5. So I should be good. There should be no reason to have to make a larger version of this. The only question is whether or not I would want to make a smaller version of this. So these guys don't flop around as much. Which again is probably not going to be a problem. But I'm just leaving it out there as an option. And yeah, those are the first 3 sets of add-ons that I'm looking to do. I will go ahead and get everything printed and cut up. And then when we do the next set of add-ons, those will be the add-ons attached to the extrusion that I'm putting on the side of my Carvera to hold additional tools and other stuff. So that is everything we need. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I would like to say. There is not. Probably the next stream will not be that. I should be able to erase all this at this point. Probably won't be that on the next stream. We'll probably do something else for the next design stream at the very least. Again, I have a number of video games that I would like to get started playing, but I've just had so many projects that I've been wanting to get done that I have not really I haven't thought it a good idea to start any other new video games at any rate. Oh man. So it's interesting. The pink and the purple, which were on this side, both came up, but the blue and the orange are sticking a little bit. This is the second time, in case you're unfamiliar, this is the second time I made this whiteboard. The first time I didn't think I did a good job applying the whiteboard cover finish to it was the problem. That was my assumption. This time it looked really good. This time I had taken the red, which is the one that had stained me last time. I had taken red and actually left the red on there for like 3 weeks and it wiped right up. So I'm a bit surprised to see the blue and the orange not wiping right up. The funny thing is that you can't even really see it on the camera, it doesn't look like, but I can see it, which is the only thing that matters. I will also say that based on the last couple of streams, well, I personally like these fine points better than the chisel points. I probably, for streaming purposes, will pick up a pack of Chilla Points markers, because frankly my drawings are a bit small on screen for you guys, and I have no way at the moment of zooming in easily. Make it easier for you guys. So that's probably going to happen. It's one of those things I probably won't do the design for the holders for the chisel points on stream, because it's really just modifying this guy and making it a little bit bigger. Not that big of a deal. And it looks like the blue is on there. So I'm wondering whether or not this is a localized problem. So for example, if I used the blue over on this side of the board, I wonder if it would stick on. Whether or not I'd have this problem where it's not coming off. Regardless, again, we will figure out something to design next weekend to do another design stream. I still have the... I need to pick this up first. No, it doesn't say to should get up first. I do have the videos that I should be doing more work on. I had mentioned this 2 weeks ago when I had gotten back to streaming, that I have very large videos that need to get done, and I have frankly not put that much effort into them so far. So I'm just putting it out there. That is something that I need to put in effort into, and hopefully you will see those videos sooner rather than later. But beyond that, until all the videos get done, I really can't stream much more than just on the weekends. So that is going to be a reality for the time being. And yeah, I think I've rambled enough. It's been about 20 minutes since I started rambling at the end of the video, so that should be par for the course. As always, guys, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a really wonderful day, afternoon, or evening, wherever you're at in the world, and I will catch you next time.